Guys, you gotta not click around, okay? Sit down, stop moving.
Hey shady baby, I'm hot like the prodigal son. Big about the leany, meeny, miny, mo, and flower, you're the chosen one.
Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Unapologetic Skincare and Beauty and I'm Stephanie. So today we are doing a new drugstore makeup video. I did pick up a couple things from the drugstore that I was interested in trying out, and now I'm here to tell you about what I think about them, my first impressions, and I have a little B-roll to show you of me actually trying them on. So drugstore makeup releases are like my favorite because I really think a lot of drugstore brands have begun stepping it up. Like Wet n Wild, for instance. I remember Wet n Wild when I was in high school was kind of like a joke sort of makeup brand. It was like cheap makeup. And now Wet n Wild is seriously competing with some of the bigger drugstore brands and even, in my opinion, some of the, high-end makeup brands out there. So I'm really happy to see that kind of thing happening, especially because Wet n Wild is so affordable and they make a lot of good makeup. So if you want to spend a lot of money for a high-end makeup product like a foundation, but you really don't want to spend a lot of money for, a bronzer or a highlight, you can feel better about spending $40 or $50 on a foundation that's high-end if you're gonna buy your bronzer and highlighter from Wet n Wild because you're only spending like $4 there. The first product I want to talk about today is the Maybelline Soda Pop Palette. So this is an eyeshadow palette. I was very, very excited about this palette when I saw it being advertised on Trend Mood, and this was months and months ago before it was even released, but you can tell I have used it quite a bit. I was excited about it because there's a couple reasons. First of all, I thought it was gonna be a really nice palette for fall because there's a lot of like nice orange and purples and things in here that I thought was gonna be really pretty for fall, which I was right. And also, it's affordable. Maybelline's formulations for eyeshadow can be hit or miss, and I was hoping that this one would be a hit. So basically it has like a purple packaging and then it says the Soda Pop palette, and when you open it up, the inside colors, they're all named after like soda pops. So it's cute, it's gimmicky, it's cute. Because I was so excited about this, I like ordered it on Amazon. I pre-ordered it, paid for it, and I thought that it would be delivered to me on the day it released, but it wasn't. I didn't get it till like 2 or 3 days later, and I actually saw this in Walmart like 11 times before I got my palette, which was annoying, but lesson learned. Live and learn. I will not ever do that again. I'll just buy it in the store. I did see in the store that, there would only be one palette left or 2 palettes left, so people were buying it, but I don't think it would ever be to the point where you couldn't find it if you wanted to find it on release day instead of waiting for Amazon to deliver it. But my impression of this palette is it's not gonna be a palette that I reach for every day. It's not gonna be a palette I reach for over some of my other favorite palettes, but it's not the worst palette that Maybelline has ever come out with, if that makes sense. So I found almost all of these colors to be really easy to work with, really pretty and pigmented, and very, blendable. But there was 2 or 3 shades in here that I will probably never touch again just because of the difficulty in working with them, just because of the fact that they did come out really chalky, and just because in other palettes I have colors like this that I know are easy to work with and I don't have to put in a ton of effort, so there's no point for me to go into these pans again. The colors that I will never ever touch again are this one here. It's called Root Beer Float, and then Blue Raspberry, which I was a little disappointed by because I really, really, really wanted to like that one. And then this one here, Cola Float. I just did find them like super muddy and super patchy and very hard to work with, and like I said, I can find these colors or variations of these colors in other palettes that I know are easy to work with, so it's not a big deal to me. The shades that I did love, first of all the shimmers are so nice and beautiful. They actually remind me of ABH shimmers. They're really soft. They're really, soft is the best way I can describe them. Really soft, really creamy. They go on really well with like a brush or your finger. My favorite color in this palette is gonna be Sugar High. So it's this right here. It's like a shimmery orange, bronze, goldy kind of thing. Like how many more ways can I describe it? Sugary, orange, bronze, goldy. So this is Tonic. This is Grape Pop. Cherry Cola, Sugar High. Now, as you can see when I was swatching with the shimmers, they do have quite a bit of fallout, which is indicated in the palette as well when you're looking at kind of all the dust that goes around in the palette itself. And that kind of bothered me because I didn't really want the powder from one shade to kind of mix in with another shade, and so I didn't like that. And I'm also a weird person about keeping my palettes clean and, you know, wiping them down, and I don't want to have to keep wiping them down, but there was quite a lot of fallout in these shades. That's the same for the mattes, so that's one thing I would keep in mind. They do take a little bit more to work with, especially the mattes. They do have some fallout, but for the price, I think it's a really good palette. I think it's a good palette. It's not horrible. It's not, like I said, something I'm gonna reach for every day, but it's good, it's decent, and I enjoyed using it, and I've been using it. So out of 10 stars, I'm gonna give this guy a 6. I'm gonna give it a 6. Next, let's talk about the NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop. About the NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop foundation. NYX foundation I was excited about because it has an amazing color range, and I'm a pale girl, but I'm not super pale to the point where I'd be wearing their lightest shade, but some foundations I find there's like a light shade and then the shade after that is too dark for me, so I really like a pretty good shade range. And I also like that this foundation comes in what feels to be, to me, a glass bottle, and it has a pump, and there's even high-end foundations that I own that do not have pumps, which drives me crazy because I feel like all high-end foundations should have pumps. Besides the fact that it has a really good shade range, it comes in a pretty nice bottle with a pump. It was supposed to be really full coverage, and there was a time, especially when this first came out a couple of months ago, that I was really looking for full coverage because I was having some skin issues, and now I'm sticking with more medium light coverage foundations, but I really wanted this just for those full coverage days when you have things you want to hide and you don't want to have to build and build and build the foundation. So let's read really quick how this is described. It's described as being lightweight, waterproof, and pigmented AF. NYX Professional Makeup's Can't Stop, Won't Stop Full Coverage Foundation hustles as hard as you do. This comfy liquid formula comes in 45 flattering tones that don't transfer. Every creamy shade glides on smooth, delivering matte coverage and color that stays true for up to 24 hours. This little overachiever also works to control shine and mattify your complexion all day long, but it doesn't stop there. This foundation is non-comedogenic and suitable for normal, oily, combination, and sensitive skin types. So right there, I should have known it wasn't going to be for me because of the fact that I guess I have like combo dry skin or normal dry skin, but my skin does lean to the dry side. So it really didn't say it was suitable for dry skin types, and it's a mattifying foundation. If you have dry skin, you know you probably want to stay away from mattifying foundations, but we still try, right? Something like this comes out, we want to give it a try. Here's what I found about the NYX Can't Stop, Won't Stop foundation that I loved. I loved that it was really full coverage, and I mean, it was a full coverage, guys. This went on, I think I put like 3 pumps on my hand and it covered my entire face and you could not see anything underneath it. No redness, no splotchiness, no uneven skin tone, nothing. And the color was pretty good because I just bought this online, so I kind of just guessed at what my color would be, but I was right, I guess. And after I applied the makeup, it looked really good. So that covers really well. That's really good coverage. So I tried to apply it in a way that would keep it from drying out. I did a lot of moisturizing before applying my foundation. I even put like rosehip seed oil on the places where I get especially dry. I primed with a hydrating primer spray. I finished with a hydrating primer spray. And what else did I do? I feel like that's it. And I didn't set with powder too much, basically at all. Like just a very light setting of powder, like in my T-zone where I always get oil. So I tried to work with the foundation so it would work for me, and it did work for me for, you know, a couple hours. It looked really good for several hours. But the only issue I had with it was it did begin to settle into my fine lines like really early on. Other foundations, you typically won't see that kind of settling into fine lines for 5, 6, 7 hours. This was, you know, at the 2-hour mark, I could definitely see it settling in my fine lines and not just making my fine lines look visible, like I could see the makeup creasing into my fine lines. Felt really heavy, like I felt like I was wearing makeup, and when it says it's no transfer, it transfers. I mean, it's a makeup, it's sitting on your face, it transfers just fine. So that's not true. And as far as it lasting 24 hours, I don't know. I've never worn a foundation for 24 hours. I don't feel like anybody should ever be wearing foundation for 24 hours. It's not necessary. I mean, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 hours is pushing it for me. If you can get me through an 8-hour workday, this definitely, I don't think would last 24 hours. For me, like I said, it was starting to look really gross at the 2-hour mark. At the 5, 6-hour mark, it was separating and drying in patches on my face. So it wasn't for me because of my skin. I think somebody with a very, very oily skin type, this would be wonderful for, because it would matte and it would, you know, prevent you from getting oily. Whereas somebody with my kind of dry skin, I don't mind a little bit of oil poking through. I don't mind a little bit of that sheen, and I don't feel like this mattified that right off the bat. I did see still a little sheen on my forehead, and I liked how it looked as soon as I put it on. So I would use this for like a day that I'm just recording for YouTube, and I know I'm only gonna need to look decent for like 2 hours. It's not a loss for me. It's just not something that's gonna be my go-to everyday foundation, especially in the winter, because obviously my skin's drier now in this fall and winter months, and I might reach for it in the summer on those days when I'm really gross and really sweaty. But like I said, not my everyday go-to foundation. It's just not gonna work for me. I have some Wet n Wild things from their Ice Dragon versus Fire Dragon Game of Thrones kind of collection. I'm a Game of Thrones fan and a little bit of a nerd when it comes to Game of Thrones. I really, really, really like it. So I felt like just out of being a fangirl, I had to pick up a couple of the items, and I'm glad I did, because there's a couple of these items from this collection that I really, really loved. So first, let's start with the bronzer. Now, this bronzer, since I got it last week, has been well used. This is the Wet n Wild Color Icon Bronzer, and it's in the shade You're Dragging Me Down, which I think's adorable, because, you know, Game of Thrones, dragons, it's adorable. And there's a little dragon on it. Usually Wet n Wild products, or sometimes Wet n Wild products, will have like a bird. I think it's a hummingbird on their products, but now they have the dragon for the Game of Thrones collection, which I think is just adorable, and I love it. I wanted this bronzer, You're Dragging Me Down, just because I liked the name, and I thought maybe it was going to be a little too warm for me, I guess, but I think it's a really good color. It goes on really smooth. It doesn't get patchy. Wet n Wild does a really good job with their bronzers. Like, I think they always have. This one is no exception. I love it. And I picked up one of the eyeshadow quads from that collection. This one is called Dragon Scales, because it's like the green themed one. And I got it specifically out of all the ones they had just because I really like greens in eyeshadow, and I feel like greens are underrepresented in eyeshadows in general. So I wanted to get some of the green shades in here, especially this one right here, which looked like an emerald green. And this one's kind of like a khaki army green, but whatever. And then that's just your basic brown and brow color. And before I used them, you could clearly see that they were marked. Like, this was marked transition, and this was marked brow bone, and then this was marked crease, and then this was marked like eyelid. Now it's a little bit harder to see that, but they're still there. This is okay. It's not the favorite thing that for me that I picked up from this collection, and it's not the favorite thing for me that I've ever gotten from Wet n Wild, but it's okay. I didn't think the green was as like green and pigmented as I wanted it to be, so I'll show you. Go into this like emerald green a little bit, and then I just felt like it became more of what I thought this one was gonna be. And this one that I thought was gonna be like this became more of a brown. So I was a little disappointed in the way the colors came out, but the formulation's good. They're not patchy, they're not streaky. I just, you know, like I said, it's not the favorite thing that I got from this collection, but I think it was only $2.99 or something, so not a big loss, and I'll use it, maybe. But the favorite thing that I did get from this collection were the brushes. So they are so cute, guys, and I've been using them non-stop, like exclusively since I've gotten them. All my other highlighter and bronzer brushes are feeling super jealous. But so this is supposed to be the highlighting brush, and it's supposed to be the Ice Dragon. And this is the bronzer brush, and it's supposed to be the Fire Dragon. The Ice Dragon and the Fire Dragon, they don't get along. They're enemies, mortal enemies. The Fire Dragon's good, the Ice Dragon's not good. The Fire Dragon's good, but Ice Dragon is bad. Ice Dragon is really bad. That's why they say winter's coming, because the Ice Dragon's about to tear shit up. The Ice Dragon is bigger than the Fire Dragon in reality, and this is not really that, you know, it's not that realistic, because they made the Ice Dragon brush smaller than the Fire Dragon brush. So I think we know whose side Wet n Wild's on. Let's move on. This is actually my favorite go-to highlighter brush now, and I had before used the Fenty one, which I loved, but there's something about the shape of this that I just like so much more. And it's obviously cheaper. And then this one for bronzer, I thought at first it was gonna be a little too like thick, and so it wouldn't go on as chiseled or whatever, but I love it. It's good. It actually works because it's kind of like pointed, you know, like a normal bronzer brush. It's like fluffier here and then it's pointed at the end. So they worked really well. And these were the last two in the display at the store when I got there. And I have not seen them since. So I'm really, really, really happy that I got them. I have a couple other Wet n Wild holiday items that are coming out, I guess, for the Christmas release, which is crazy to me because it's October. Do you like my orange October backdrop? It's like fall, you know, it'll get me through like October, November. So these are the highlighting bars. I have the gold one and then I have the platinum one. And there's other ones, there's like rose gold and another one, but either way, I thought these two would be the best options for my light skin. And they are. I love these things, guys. These are great highlighters. Like today I'm wearing them and I just think they're gorgeous. Aren't they? They're gorgeous. And it was so funny because I had to buy these two separate because when I got to the store, first of all, I went to 3 stores before I even found this one. I found this one, but then this one wasn't there. And I had ended up not then wanting this one too as I was traveling around the store. So then I had to go to another 2 stores before I found this one. They're selling out everywhere. People love these things. I guess they came out last season and they're limited edition, so everybody like bought them up and they don't have them anymore, and now they're re-releasing them. So I'm probably gonna have to buy a couple more of them just because I really, really like how they wear. I guess there's supposed to be a mirror in there and I'm trying to figure out, like, I hear it like rattling, so I'm trying to figure out how you get the mirror out. I don't, oh, oh, that's so cool. So this is like the packaging and then the mirror is like here. So it pulls out from here. That's pretty awesome. And these are cheap, guys. They're only like $4. So you get a bomb highlighter and a mirror, which can function as like a travel mirror. So that's awesome for the price. Like these are really good. I've tried both of them, this one and this one. I do go with this one if I'm doing like a warmer eye look or makeup look in general, and I'll use this one if I'm going for a cooler eye look, but they both look beautiful under the brow bone. Or on the brow bone, not under the brow bone, on the brow bone. So just keep that in mind. Multifaceted, these are awesome, I love them. The only thing that I found was weird, and I'll show you, but where this one's like really smooth because I've only used it a couple of times, this one is almost like really choppy. I don't know why. And it doesn't come off different. It's still, you know, really beautiful, but it just looks different. I don't know. Am I crazy? Am I being picky? So this is the platinum bar and then this is the gold bar. I just have a ColourPop item to talk about, and I know technically you can't find ColourPop like in Walgreens or Rite Aid. I get that. But I do think it's drugstore priced, so I thought it was worth talking about, especially because it's an awesome product. So it's the ColourPop Best in Brows. And it's basically a brow kit. Now I got mine in the color Auburn because my hair is reddish, and I use this every day. I love it. It's going to be my favorite brow stuff from now on, but it's awesome because it's only 20 bucks, but it comes with 4 brow products. So it comes with 4 brow products for $20. That's almost better than drugstore pricing because you will get like a brow gel or a brow pencil, you know, at the drugstore for like 7, 8, 9 bucks. Whereas this, you get 4 of these products for $20. So it's really great. It comes with the brow gel. It comes with the brow like pomade, and it comes with 2 brow pencils. And I will show you really quick. The brow gel is really great. It's got a nice like brush on it. It sets everything down. It's beautiful. And then the brow pomade. You know, your typical brow pomade, whatever. Is pomade the correct word? I don't know. That's what I say. And then the 2 pencils, they both have like the spoolie brushes at the end. But this one here, so the one with the white cap, is more of a lighter pencil. I think more for like filling in. And then this one here with the dark colored cap is darker when you put it on. So I think it's more for like drawing the line and defining, and then this you would use for filling in. You can use all 4 of these at once if you really want, if you're going for like a super dramatic brow look. But I like that it gives you the 4 products because you can kind of decide if you want to go with a super dramatic brow look, or if you just want to do something low-key. If you're just going low-key, you know, just fill them in really quick, or just use the brow gel if you're just walking outside and you don't want to do your brows, but you don't want them to look a hot mess. I am really happy with this, and I'll keep ordering it. 20 bucks for 4 products is awesome. So that is it from me today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you really liked seeing the new drugstore products and what I thought of them. If you have questions, let me know. If you've used these products and you've had different results or you have different opinions, let me know. And go ahead and hit the like button if you did like it, so I know you liked it, and subscribe if you want to see more. I will see you all soon. Have a beautiful day. Stay kind and stay beautiful. Mwah. Bye.
Till your left hand's free and your right hand grip with another left hand watches right and slip. Schwartz is gone.